What's up, JEFusion fans? This is Philip, and welcome back to another video. And finally, we get to review Kamen Rider OOO's Fukkatsu no Core Medal. So this is the 10th anniversary film for Kamen Rider OOO's. So this pamphlet that I have here, actually, I got this when I went to the Kamen Rider exhibit, a few months, about a couple months back. So now it's a golden week in Japan, so I have free time and I finally got the chance to watch the movie. So I'm just gonna talk about my own thoughts on the movie and probably mention a few plot points. So I guess there are gonna be some spoilers. So, anyways, let's just move on and talk about stuff. So for this movie, as you can see, the original O's from 800 years ago is back, and there is another Kamen Rider named Kamen Rider Goda. So what happens, right, is that the Kamen Rider O's, the original O's, so he is back, right? But I don't understand how he came back. So was there someone who disturbed his slumber, or was there some kind of seal that got weak and he was able to break free and resurrect? I don't know. There was no answer for that. I didn't see anything that explains how the original O's came back. And Kamen Rider Goda. So Goda is actually a greed that inhabits Eiji. So that's right. Eiji is possessed by a greed. So Goda is actually a greed that is formed by the Mukade or centipede, the Suzumebachi or wasp, and the Ari or ant core metals. So these three core metals make up Goda. So uh, so Eiji was kind of uh, almost fatally injured when he fought the original O's, and he tried to save a girl's life. So he gave the last of his life energy in order to repair the Taka core metal, which brought back Ankh. So that's how Ankh returned. So Eiji basically gave his life. So we don't know how the core metals for Goda came about, but it seems that they found their way into the almost lifeless body of Eiji, and therefore, as while he's basically possessed by these core metals, they kept him alive, similar to how Ankh possessed Shingo Izumi's body, which, like Eiji in this case, right, was also almost mortally injured when the greed attacked. So for the entirety of the series, Ankh was actually keeping Shingo alive, and also allowing Ankh to blend in with society, as he needed a human form so he doesn't look suspicious. So that's basically Goda, right? So eventually, Ankh and Eiji have to team up, or Goda rather, in Eiji's body. So they eventually have to team up in order to defeat the original O's, and sure enough, they did. But Goda had plans of his own, so whatever core metals the original O's left, he took for himself, and thus Kamen Rider Goda was born. Okay, so fair enough, right? So AG, or Ankh rather, takes over AG's body, which is still unconscious. Just to remind you, so they transform into Kamen Rider O's Tajadoru Eternity. So fair enough. And then they fight, of course. And after defeating Kamen Rider Goda, AG or Ankh separates from AG's body. However, because AG is still heavily injured, he dies. At least he dies knowing that the girl he tried to save earlier in the film is safe. And that's the end of the film. That's it. No, nothing is shown after that. No aftermath. So it doesn't show what everyone was doing after the battle. And yeah, that was it. So let's move on to other things that I want to talk about. So the Greed Generals, right? So they're back, but they don't appear much. So Uva does have more screen time than the others because there was a scene where he attacked uh, AG and Ankh. So he was defeated by AG, or in this case, Goda. So Goda transformed into Kamen Rider OOO using AG's body, really. And then, of course, he was uh, almost killed when Goda tried to crush the core metal that had uh, Uva's consciousness in it, but Ankh stops him. So okay, Uva escapes and returns to the King O's, or the original O's, but is punished for his failure by being absorbed into him. So Uva is basically absorbed by the King O's, or original O's. So uh, what happened was, to put it bluntly, so King O's was like, you know what, screw it. Uh, I don't give second chances, and now that I've absorbed Uva, I might as well absorb you guys as well. So that's what he did, and he absorbed the other Greed Generals as well. So much for screen time. So another thing that I'd like to talk about, probably, so Kamen Rider Birth X, right? So okay, so he appears for about a couple of minutes, sure. He buys enough time, helps AG and Ankh fight against the King O's and Kamen Rider Goda. Yeah, I'm gonna refer to this guy as King O's just to differentiate him. Sure. So yeah, but we didn't see the full extent of Birth X's capabilities, so probably that's what we're going to see in uh, the spin-off coming soon. So okay, there's that. But no, overall, mm, I'm kind of disappointed with this movie, really, because AG's been through a lot. No, if you watch the show especially and see where AG is coming from, he's been through a lot, and I guess it was kind of poetic for him to give up his life so that I could be brought from basically death, right? But how the movie ended was clearly unsatisfying. Okay, AG died for what? We don't see anything. We just see what the credits roll in AG's underpants are swinging in the air just like that. Really? Like, what kind of hope was there for mankind to recover after being almost destroyed by King O's? So, you know, I guess Toei intentionally left the story at that so that they would have something for their spin-off, which is only going to be shown on TTFC, I guess. So, and we probably get to see Hina transform into Kamen Rider O's, being the next one chosen by uh to become O's, I guess. we don't know for certain, but you know, clearly I did not like the movie that much. I've seen some friends talk about this movie and they seem to like it, but for me, it wasn't as satisfying as I hoped, really. There's no payoff for AG's sacrifice. We don't see any kind of payoff for that. Sure, we bring back Ankh, but no, we still lost AG. So going back to Goda a little bit, so like I mentioned, so there are three core metals that basically compose Goda. So the centipede, the wasp, and uh, actually hornet or wasp, whatever, and the ant core metals. So we actually, uh, those metals actually came about first in Kamen Rider Memory of Heroes. So this game right here, yes, I have. So at some point in the game, so AG will fight a greed that is an amalgamation of a centipede, a wasp, and ant, which is just called a Mukachiri. So upon defeating this greed, it was actually an artificial greed, but there were core metals created for it, so the core metals are also artificial, I guess. So with those three core metals, AG as O's, of course, is able to transform into the Mukachiri combo, which again also makes its debut here in this game. However, those do not appear in the movie. So we only see Goda possess AG, but he doesn't have a monster form. So even Ankh can transform into a monster-like form, right? And we also see the Greek generals, but not Goda. So even in even though he already has those three core metals inside of him, right? He doesn't use them to transform into the Mukachiri combo, right? It was a missed opportunity, Toei. You already created that for this game. If you were going to use those core metals, why didn't you utilize them for the movie? Right? I mean, wasted opportunity right there. Or did you forget that you even create that in the first place? I don't know. So the movie was also moving like a breakneck speed. Like, yeah, I can understand what's happening, but like everything was happening so fast. And because things were happening so fast, things weren't given enough time for explanation. Again, for just an example is how King Oz came back from the dead in the first place. And what happens to everyone after that battle, right? So I don't know if any one of you guys enjoyed this movie, and if you love it, that's fine. But for me, I don't. If if this was meant to be an ending for AG's story arc, at least, if they're planning to make more O's content in the future, I mean, is it? I'm still, you know, conflicted to say the least. Like, again, I understand, like, sure, sacrificing his own life to bring back Ankh, but you know what? Mm, I'm gonna give Kamen Rider OOO's Fukkatsu no Corner Medal 2 out of 5. Really. So, I'm being generous with that rating, to be completely honest. So, there were so many things that, again, it's not, for me, a complete film. Like, it doesn't feel completed. It doesn't feel as polished, at least in terms of the story. Like, sure, I kind of like the Tajador Eternity suit, but that's fine. Birth X is okay. I guess we are going to see more of him in the spin-off, but really, you know, I wanted to see more of the Greed generals. They try their best to please their master, but screw it, I'm just gonna absorb all of you in one go. you know, Visible disappointment. So, anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you do like this video, please do leave a like. Comment what you think about the movie if you've seen it. I know there are spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, I'm so sorry, but if you have already, so let me know what you think in the comments. Did you like it? Did you hate it? So let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to share this video, and as always, don't forget that subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get the latest from JEFusion. This has been Philip, and I'll see you next time when, I'm not as stressed as now. Seriously, just thinking about what that movie was stressful. Anyways, see you guys.